Good afternoon and welcome to My Left Ear. I am Carrie Freeman. This is video 190. I actually think I've made more than 190 videos, but I lost track. It's Friday, January 19th, and My Left Ear is a left-leaning political YouTube channel. I do psychic commentary, and normally I do the runes. Most sessions I do the runes. We're not going to do any runes today. I'm just bringing some positive information to you today. That's what I'm doing. No bummers today. The reason it's called My Left Ear is because I get information on the left side, comes in through my ear. I don't hear voices. It's like sentences. It's information. It's advice. That's how it happens. MLE is what we call it. MLE, my left ear. When I'm not doing this, I'm an author, and I do private sessions where I use combination of things, but I've been doing hypnotherapy for 20 years. I do psychic coaching, and I will do the runes one-on-one with people. So I Zoom, and I have people here in person. And I have a Patreon channel. We just did the last one, which people really liked a lot. And that is patreon.com/Carrie Freeman. Now, you know, one thing I notice is I watch other YouTube channels, and I don't watch, I maybe watch one or two intuitive people, but I don't absorb. I don't like search out anymore because I'm doing this. But what I noticed is everybody but me is really good about asking for subscribers and likes, and I don't do it. I haven't done it in the last, 20 YouTube. So I want to ask you for likes and to subscribe if you haven't already done that. We're all trying to improve our business. All right, so here we go. I'm starting with good evidence, and I call it the big tell, and I'm pretty darn excited about it. That's why I really wanted to do this today. I had an epiphany. My left ear had an epiphany a few days ago. Maybe it was it yesterday or the day before? I can't remember. It was the day after Mr. T appeared in Iowa for the caucus, and then he won. So I'm going to tell you why I'm really excited about this, because this told me, what I'm going to share with you absolutely informed me that Joe Biden is going to continue being our president, and he's going to win in November. I kind of know how my ear works, and the way it comes in when it's like, that's it. That tells me all I need to know. So here we go. Within 24 hours of Trump winning the Iowa caucus, and from what I hear from all the pundits, he won, but it wasn't that impressive, okay? But he won. And there's a lot of reasons, but since I'm not a political expert, I can't go through all the reasons why it's not gigantic, but it's enough that he won. All right. So within 24 hours of Mr. T winning the caucus in Iowa, President Biden raised a whopping $1.6 million, not from big donors, from grassroots donors, in 24 hours after Trump won Iowa. So that is a BFD, and you know what that means, because it shows how strong the base support remains. But here's the insight for me. I'm going to try taking off my glasses, hoping I can see everything. It came in 24 hours. It was from grassroots donors who don't have the big money. It came pouring in. And so this is what I know. This is what the ear helps me, my intuitive stuff helps me. That was an extremely emotional move by all those donors. The 1.6 million was a reaction, a big emotional reaction, not intellectual at all. And what I felt, I heard, it was almost like all those donors, I almost could hear them, who donated to Biden say, F no, not on my watch. Honestly and truly. And, you know, I know that I told you that one day when I wasn't going to be on YouTube, and it was a moment. It was just like this moment was like, throw the runes and ask if Biden's going to be president. Is he going to win? And I threw the runes, and I didn't keep them to share with you. It was kind of like for me privately, but it was a resounding yes. I mean, sometimes you get a runes reading when you know I pick 3 normally, and sometimes a clarifier, that it's so crystal clear what the answer is. It doesn't even need interpretation. And that's the answer I got from the runes. So I've been holding on to that, feeling really good about it. But this clinched it. So I'm really going on the line here by doing this, but I feel it in my gut, and I've been doing this a long time, and this is the kind of thing I trust. Now, it doesn't mean there's going to be smooth sailing. There's probably still going to be aggravation and unfair things, lying. So I'm not indicating smooth sailing. I'm indicating that the end result is that Joe Biden is going to continue to be our president. So kind of keep that in mind as we go through some just awful things with Hunter Biden and that Comer idiot and all the things that are going on. This particular YouTube today, though, is leaning towards all the positive, because I just thought, I just want to do that. I just want to do that because I went, oh, this is good, and this is good, and this is good. Okay, that's my next show. So that's the biggest thing. I think you can take it to heart. So here's some good evidence. South Carolina Republican House Representative Jeff Duncan says he'll retire from the House. He just announced it. Duncan's announcement marks half a dozen Republicans who have announced plans in January to leave the chamber. Only one of them, and that would be John Curtis, Republican in Utah, and Larry Bouchon, Republican in Indiana, are longtime lawmakers and senior members of powerful committees. So overall, 18 Republicans have announced plans to retire from the House, only 4 of whom are running for higher office. The rest are just, bye-bye, I'm out of here. I'm taking that great job that's been offered to me to run a university or whatever. I was talking about this with someone that's really a friend who's really interested in politics, and a song came into my head out of the blue, and it was Freddie Mercury's Another One Bites the Dust. And I told my friend, I said, this Freddie Mercury's coming through with Another One Bites the Dust. And we laughed. Well, the next day, the Midas Touch had a show, and it was like Another One Bites the Dust. And then yesterday I got in my car, I turned it on, and I'm hearing the beginning of a song, and I'm going, wait a minute, is that Another One Bites the Dust? Because it has a very particular intro, that song. And it was. So Another One Bites the Dust. You might want to go up, look it up on YouTube, Freddie Mercury. And I do want to remind you, I don't do this all the time. I know a lot of people do it, but my left ear and the runes predicted that more GOP House reps will retire, leave, resign, and I actually think there's more coming. All right, I do. And that gets us closer to Hakeem Jeffries. All right. And also, I'm not covering it here, but I know in my left ear, heart, and soul that a whole swath of senators and representatives are going to get nailed for insurrection. And then that's going to be nuts. So that's going to be a reason why there's going to be more people leaving. I know this in my deepest place. Okay, so I'm telling you that. That's good. Now, there is this controversial thing regarding Fani Willis and Michael Popak on the Midas Touch called this the undermining of Fani Willis, and I agree with him. So here's the story to the best of my ability. A guy named Mike Roman, who is a fake elector, indicted in Georgia, and in fact, Kenneth Chesebro, or Cheesebro, however you say it, is testifying about Mike Roman. But here's what Mike Roman is doing. He's attacking and harassing Fani Willis. He's whipped up a scandal to derail Fani Willis. And there's, it's Trump and it's his mafia goons that are pulling the strings behind the curtain, and they want to derail her. They want to hurt her. They want her to get kicked off the case, which would, I don't think it's going to happen, which would, derail her doing this before the election. So he's made all these allegations. He filed papers. There's no evidence, okay? There's no evidence, just like there's no evidence to impeach Biden. Nevertheless, so it has to do with Nathan Wade, a prosecutor that Fani assigned on the RICO case. And he is a divorced man. He has been divorced for 2 years. Now, he got divorced because his wife had an affair with his best friend. I'm sure there was more to it, but this is the headline, okay? His wife, Jocelyn. So it's been 2 years, all right? And their divorce papers are sealed, but all of a sudden, Wade's wife, Jocelyn, surfaces out of the blue and does a notice of deposition on Fani. And that came down on January 8th. But that's not the only thing that came down on January 8th. Same day, Mike Roman, the fake elector, indicted and defendant, filed a motion to unseal the divorce documents, alleging a conflict of interest by Willis with her relationship or friendship with Nathan Wade. And they want the divorce documents unsealed. Conflict of interest, that's what they're saying. Conflict of interest with zero evidence. All right? So, the thing is, nobody should mess with Fani Willis unless they really know what they're doing. Because what it looks like, and I'm not doing Michael Popak word for word, but it looks like Mrs. Wade, who had the affair, is being co-opted, perhaps even paid, I don't know this, I'm suspecting, by the MAGA mafia. So Willis got up on Martin Luther King Day in church and spoke about this very vocally and had a lot to say. I did not listen to her speech, but she's fighting back. So what it looks like is Willis is going to file papers that Jocelyn Wade and the other guy, Mike Roman, are conspiring to undermine and suppress the RICO criminal case and have her replaced. So now it's a co-conspiracy mess. I bet Jocelyn didn't know this was going to be the outcome, so she just shot herself in the foot, and Fani's fighting back. Personally, my left ear doesn't think there's any misbehavior. Two single people that do not work together all the time. She brought him on to work on this case, which she has a right to do, and she must have her reasons. In her position, she doesn't need to explain it. So she's fighting back. Keep an eye on this. And I call this "Do Not Mess with Fani Willis." All right. So last week I did do the runes on Fani and this cooked up scandal, and she will prevail and she will continue. It's very nasty though, and I feel bad that she has to go through this because she also gets death threats. Her family gets death threats. I mean, it's that same old story. But we'll keep an eye on this. I feel pretty darn confident, and that's not a Carol Burnett imitation, that Fani's going to be okay. And like I said, this is a formidable woman, and she knows the law inside out. She's taking this on, but it's just so annoying, all right? And they're going to be sorry. And the former Mrs. Wade is not going to be too happy about this. All right, so here's some other positive information. Nancy Pelosi predicts that Democrats will win 5 seats in New York City. 5 seats. She also predicted, with Jen Psaki, that Hakeem Jeffries will be the Speaker of the House in 2025. Nancy is a numbers person. If you remember when she had the gavel, she did not do anything unless she was sure she had the vote. So she's very careful about predictions and things that she says. She's a phenomenal servant. Nancy Pelosi is phenomenal. All right. My left ear predicted that a government shutdown will be averted. And it has been averted, but it's not over. I mean, it's going to come back to haunt us. And then the guy, because I love to say this, pastor, speaker, pervert, insurrectionist Mike Johnson, is kind of extorting the Biden administration because they're saying they want to lump money into immigration and Ukraine. It's like extorting the Biden administration for Ukraine money, which is so badly needed. We should have had this money for Ukraine a couple of months ago. It's very painful, very painful. But there's this flip-flopping where little Mike Johnson at one point, maybe a week ago, said, we're not taking on the immigration because it's too complicated. Now he comes back and he says the opposite. And this is just not me. All the pundits are saying, wait a minute, this is like, I like to say, flip-flopping like a fish on hot cement. It's kind of not a very good image, but you know what I mean? Flip-flopping. And he admitted, little Mikey admitted, that he's been in almost constant contact with the backroom president, Mr. T. So he is taking a lot of guidance and advice. They all are. He's like the backroom mafia president going, with a cigar, like, okay, you take care of this, you knock this one out. So unless they have immigration, the GOP, they kind of have nothing to run on. They don't have a platform other than let's cut Social Security, Medicaid, let's strip everyone of their medical insurance. It just goes on and on. Let's ban abortion in every state. these are not things that are good for them to run on. In fact, they just had a meeting about Social Security and Medicaid behind closed doors. The Democrats just found out about it. So now we're going to move on to the DC. Well, first of all, I do talk about E. Jean, but I'm going to just mention something about Jack Smith's DC case with Judge Chutkan. It will happen before the election. This is another thing I know. I can guarantee it. And a conviction will happen for Mr. T. Donald Trump will be convicted. Now, from there, I don't think any of us know how it's going to affect the votes or people changing their mind or, blah, blah, blah. This is a wait and see. But I know there's a conviction, and I know this trial is going to take place before the election. Positive, so you can count on that. Now we're going to move on to the E. Jean Carroll case because she came back, got on the stand again, because there's more defamation. I mean, he's going nuts. President Trump, former President Trump. Well, that was a slip. That was embarrassing. But yesterday or the day before, no, Wednesday, Trump couldn't be there because he was at the services for his mother-in-law who passed away. He wanted them to postpone the trial for him, and this wonderful judge said no. Judge Kaplan said no, because he doesn't have to be there legally. He just wanted to do that. So Alina Habba, on her own, made quite the fool of herself in the cross-examination of E. Jean. And she keeps irritating Judge Kaplan enormously. And he just fires back at her and he says, "Did you hear me? Sit down." The answer is no. I mean, he just doesn't mince words. So on the cross-examination, Alina Habba was trying to suggest or suggested that E. Jean Carroll has benefited from her sexual assault, her claim. She's made big money and has new celebrity friends and is very popular. Life is good. Being raped was good for her, although Alina didn't say that exactly, but that was the inference. And the Judge Kaplan scolded her numerous times because she was really bad. She didn't know how to ask questions. It's like she had never taken a class in cross-examination. She just didn't know how to do it. She asked open-ended questions, not specific. It was really embarrassing. And then she had new evidence because she didn't know the procedure for submitting evidence. And she found some evidence and she wanted to introduce it, but she hadn't done the proper procedures. She didn't know. So judge would not allow it. And he said, "Miss Baba, this is like evidence 101 in college. And no, you're not introducing this evidence." So that day, or the day before that, Tuesday, Trump made a spectacle of himself in court. He pounded the table. He talked loudly so the jury could hear him. He even groaned. He leaned forward. He said things like, "She's a con, she's a fake," further abusing E. Jean Carroll. So the Palmer report, I like the Palmer report, Bill Palmer. He's usually right about everything. Wrote, "The chief operating officer of insurrections lost it bigly in court and melted it down faster than an ice cream cone in 90-degree weather." I just had to share that with you. And then across all the shows that I watch, a lot of MSNBC, they all keep asking, even the pundits that I like very much, What will it take to get T to shut up? What will it take? How much money will it take to charge him? How many millions will it take to get him to stop harassing and lying about E. Jean Carroll? And I just want you to know, my left ear said, really nothing. I mean, they could hit him with 50 million next week for E. Jean, and I don't think it will stop him. He's on a rip. Ideally, anybody doing what he's doing, talking out loud so the jury could hear, jumping up and leaving the courtroom before the jury leaves the courtroom, which is procedure, he should be thrown in jail for 2 days. No phone, no computer, can't talk to his people, can't make statements, can't get up in front of the press and bloviate. And yeah, people will go nuts, but they're already nuts. But, you know, it seems like he does intimidate even the judges. So I don't think he's going to be thrown in jail, but that's my wish, even if it's for a day, because it will shock the ever-loving blank out of him. I mean, can you imagine? He gets thrown in jail and all of that stuff. Oh my God. And then along those lines, which is connected to his insane behavior, that his cognitive condition is declining. It's declining more and more. Yesterday, in an interview with Sean Hannity, he does this free association, and I just wish once someone would say, what are you talking about? Really, sir, what are you talking about? Because he goes from this to this to this lie, and then his voice trails off. You know, when he tells a big lie, I want you to notice this. He doesn't finish the sentence. This is what I've noticed. It trails off and he goes on to the next thing. So keep an eye for that, because it's really a phenomenon. So yes, with Sean Hannity, he talked about Barack Obama as if Barack is still our president. And Sean Hannity looked very alarmed. Okay? All right. So I didn't want to go way over today. And here I'm up on the quotes. We'll do more runes next week, I promise you. So here's a quote that was someone on Twitter, I think Adam Rifkin is his name, very interesting Twitter presence, really smart. And he wrote, although they're often used interchangeably, empathy and compassion aren't the same. Empathy absorbs others' emotions as if it's their own, okay? I'm hurting for you. I'm hurting for you. Compassion focuses your attention on their emotions. I see that you're hurting, you're in great pain, and I am here for you. So I thought that was great. And compassion is, it kind of supersedes empathy once he explained this. Here's the next and final quote. Helping someone else through difficulty is where civilization starts. We are at our best when we serve others. And that was by famed anthropologist Margaret Mead. I believe her title was anthropologist, but if I am wrong, you let me know, because I want to know. She is deceased, amazing woman, and I'll just repeat it because it's really great. Helping someone else through difficulty is where civilization starts. We are at our best when we serve others. So I really like that. I will talk to you very soon. I'm working on another Patreon. I kind of felt good about just delivering some hopeful news today, rather than to go into the trash bin of some horrific behaviors. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it gave you an uplift. And let's just go back to the beginning, because I'm really putting myself on the line here. Biden is going to win. And Iowa told me that. It was very emotional, immediate response. And from little donations to add up to 1.6 million is not chump change. It tells us a story. So there's some quiet people out there that are going to step up. All right, my friends, have a good weekend and keep the faith. And I will see you very soon with more stuff. Bye-bye.